Amazon Lord of the Rings TV series is a highly anticipated upcoming Amazon original based on Professor J.R.R. Tolkien's works, and today we will be covering and looking at 10 things we know so far about this show. In at number 10, we have the episode runtime. According to Wheel of Time showrunner Rafe Judkins, which is the other fantasy show in development at Amazon Studios, he said in an Instagram Q&A, quote, "Amazon is great because each episode doesn't have to hit an exact time like you do in network. And these episodes are epic. We are clocking in between 50 to 65 minutes each," end quote. So why is this important? Well, because Amazon, unlike normal cable TV or TV networks, they don't require an exact run length needed to be met with this Amazon show, and this means we could have episode 3 be 52 minutes long, while episode 7 is an hour and 15 minutes long. The creative team and crew for the Amazon show have exactly the amount of time they need to tell their second age story. At number 9, we have the director's episodes. So far, we have 3 directors for season 1, which is J.A. Bayona, best known for Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom, The Orphanage and The Monster Calls, Wayne Chi Yip, best known for Hunters and Doctor Who, and Charlotte Brandstrom, best known for The Witcher, Jupiter's Legacy and Counterpart. Also, it has been revealed how many episodes each director will have, with J.A. Bayona having the first 2 episodes, which according to press releases are the 2 pilot episodes. Wayne Chi Yip will be directing 4 episodes of season 1, the most out of all 3 directors, which leaves finally Charlotte Brandstrom, who will be directing 2 episodes in season 1, and I was originally told these would be episodes 5 and 6, but that is still unconfirmed. In at number 8, we have the current non-involvement of Howard Shore. Critically acclaimed and cherished composer Howard Shore, whose pieces on the Lord of the Rings and Hobbit film trilogies are much loved by Tolkien fans, and his involvement in this Amazon show is often discussed and personally dreamt of. However, in an interview in January earlier this year with The Observer, Howard Shore, when asked about being contacted for scoring Amazon's Lord of the Rings series, he said, quote, "I haven't talked to the production about it, so I haven't been following it." He still expressed his interest though by saying, quote, "But I would consider it." Even in August 2021, Doug Adams, who is the author of the music of the Lord of the Rings films and crucially a good friend of Howard Shore's, said, quote, "He could be completely uninvolved or already signed. He's a cagey on that, Howard Shore." The scoring for television shows normally happens late into post-production, and filming as of now only finished a week ago, so Howard Shore might not be needed to be contacted until later this year or early next year. However, all signs currently indicate that as of now, Howard Shore is not associated with The Lord of the Rings on Prime. Up next at number 7, we have the time period and licenses. Well, Amazon's show will be set in the Second Age, and despite recent images from the show which displays a concept image of presumably Tyrion and the 2 trees, which is set in the First Age, Years of the Trees and all this prior time periods, this has led to much discussion into which of Tolkien's works have Amazon licensed. Well, the rights did cost reportedly around 250 million to obtain, so the material provided presumably will be rich. Firstly, when we go back to the maps which were released in early 2019, some places on the map such as the geography and shape of the island kingdom of Numenor would have needed work and chapters from the Unfinished Tales in order to use it, so it makes sense to presume that the Unfinished Tales has been partly licensed. Now with the new revelation of the 2 trees, it adds to the question of how much material Amazon have licensed. Well, I doubt the full Quenta Silmarillion has been bought, but maybe some parts including a Calibeth would have been possible, and now early chapters which reference the two trees as well. However, this show and Amazon have continually reiterated of being a show set in the second age of Tolkien's Legendarium and not the first, especially through the show's official synopsis, which is, quote, Amazon Studios' forthcoming series brings to screens for the very first time the heroic legends of the fabled Second Age of Middle-earth's history. This epic drama is set thousands of years before the events of J.R.R. Tolkien's The Hobbit and The Lord of the Rings, and will take viewers back to an era in which great powers were forged, kingdoms rose to glory and fell to ruin, unlikely heroes were tested, hope hung by the finest of threads, and the greatest villain that ever flowed from Tolkien's pen threatened to cover all the world in darkness. Beginning in a time of relative peace, this series follows an ensemble cast of characters, both familiar and new, as they confront the long-feared re-emergence of evil to Middle-earth. From the darkest depths of the Misty Mountains, to the majestic forest of the elf capital of Lindon, to the breathtaking island kingdom of Numenor, to the furthest reaches of the maps, these kingdoms and characters will carve out legacies that live on long after they are gone. Next up at number 6, we have the episode count for Season 1. Well, it has been often debated and figures circulated around about how many episodes Season 1 of Amazon's Lord of the Rings TV series is, with some being 10, 12 and 20. However, Season 1 will actually, as of right now, have 8 episodes, and on the Tolkien Reading Day 2021 announcement, Amazon revealed a clapperboard with the figure 8 prominently placed there, purposely to indicate the episode length of the first season. This was also confirmed by official press releases by Amazon as well. Halfway there, at number 5, we have financial support. The Amazon show has often been referred to as the $1 billion show. Well, New Zealand wants to support that as well, with providing a further 100 million in government subsidies to the production. The first season alone will cost $465 million US, with Jennifer Solke, the head of Amazon Prime Video, in an interview with The Hollywood Reporter justified the cost by saying, quote, "The market is crazy, as you saw with the Knives Out deal, where Netflix paid $469 million for 2 sequels. This is a full season of a huge world-building show. The number is a sexy headline or a crazy headline that's fun to click on, but that is really building the infrastructure of what will sustain the whole series. But it is a crazy world, and various people on the Zoom, mostly Bella and me, have been in bidding situations where it starts to go incredibly high. There's a lot of brewing, and we have to make decisions on where we want to stretch and where we want to draw the line. As for how many people need to watch Lord of the Rings, a lot. A giant global audience needs to show up to it as appointment television, and we are pretty confident that that will happen. In at number 4, we have the behind the scenes documentaries. Through revelations of our own here at Fellowship of Fans, in an official final contract signed between New Zealand's government, New Zealand Tourism Board and Amazon, the contract specifically mentioned behind the scenes and, quote, making of documentaries and content for the show, and we will see this through Amazon's and New Zealand's PR channels, whilst New Zealand Tourism will be releasing 6 60 to 90 second clips and montages of scenes from Lord of the Rings on Prime, which will specifically show off New Zealand's landscape, which has been shown in the series. In at number 3, we have Season 2 updates. Amazon announced in November 2019 the renewal for a second season of the Lord of the Rings series, 3 years before the actual release of Season 1. Then we have further confirmation that the season 2 scripts have been finalized and ready since around August 2020, with the showrunners JD Payne and Patrick McKay stating that they had finished the scripts during the New Zealand lockdown. Also, some filming and pickups for season 1 of The Lord of the Rings on Prime have been filmed at Pinewood Studios in England. The penultimate entry for today's video, in at number 2 we have the main characters and villains. According to The Observer, we have multiple main characters for the show, with the first one being codenamed Beldor, which will be played by Robert Aramayo, and the character description who is quote, an optimistic, intelligent and political savvy protagonist who is nonetheless more reserved than his on-screen counterparts. Beldor will often be the straight man in pairings with more outsized personalities, and while young will possess a gravitas that is belies a character who could be far older, end quote. This character description has been speculated as being Elrond's character. We also have Markella Kavanagh, who will be playing quote Tyra, who is a wide-eyed character for young teenage woman with a strength and maturity beyond her years. Tyra will provide a mix of dramatic and comedic elements. Then we have Joseph Marley, best known for playing Benjen Stark in Game of Thrones, and he's reported to be playing the villain Oren. Quote, a villain who can evoke a deep sense of pathos built around a wounded and fallen nobility. Though the character is middle-aged, Oren will possess a certain degree of physicality and project a sense of timelessness. Could this be Sauron? We shall have to wait and see. However, the reported main character for Amazon's Lord of the Rings is Eldian, who is quote, a complex, unique and formidable young woman in her mid-20s who possesses an internal quality and a strong physical component. This role has been apparently given to the Welsh-Swedish actor Morfydd Clark, who is also said to be playing Galadriel. Finally, in at number 1, we have the release date. Amazon's The Lord of the Rings on Prime will be released in September 2022, starting on September 2nd, coincidentally the death date of the Professor himself, and episodes will be released weekly on Amazon Prime, so will likely run through September and probably further on. Filming has also wrapped for season 1 of the show in the first weeks of August, and here are some pictures of the crew and behind the scenes filming released by Amazon. With still quite a while left to go, and after recent developments like the image on screen, are you more excited for the Amazon adaptation of Tolkien's works and the Second Age? Please let me know in the comments below. Thank you guys for watching, I really appreciate it. Please like and subscribe, but until the next video my friends, goodbye.